My next guest is going to be fighting on Contender Series coming up here on September 8th. It is Sherrard Blackledge joining me here on the program for the very first time. Sherrard, how are you?
Hey, man. How's it doing? How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain.
Yeah, you just said you had practice right now. How did everything go today?
Man, today was my last hard sparring. It's been amazing. I feel really sharp. I'm on my toes, really good. Seeing everything. Feel amazing, man. Feel great. Couldn't ask to be better.
Congratulations on this opportunity here on Contender Series. When did you find out? Because I think anyone following your career knew it was only a matter of time.
Yeah, man, I found out about, I want to say 6 weeks ago. Found out about 6 weeks ago. I couldn't really talk about it for the first 2 weeks until I got my contract. And even after I got my contract, I kind of had to wait for it a little bit. But yeah, man, it's been a long time coming for me too. I was hoping that it was going to come around this time. I kind of predicted it. I was like, I think I'm going to make a appearance in the Contender Series around September, October, or a late UFC debut in November. So I kind of already felt like it was going to be around this.
Where did this journey start for you? How did you get involved in combat sports?
Oh, man. So I was living in an apartment complex when I first moved to Vegas. And the apartment maintenance man was a professional boxer. And this was like the first time that I've ever seen this dude. I go down for Thanksgiving to get the Thanksgiving turkey. And he's like, he goes, I put my hands up to grab it, and he pulls it back really quickly. And he goes, he's like, hey, man, you ever thought about getting into like a combat sport? And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, what, man, just give me my turkey. That's all I want. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, man, seriously, because you have like a good physique for your body, the way your body's built and everything. You seem like you'd be good at it. You should give it a shot. Think about it. I'm like, oh, okay, man, give me my turkey. I'll sleep on it. So I went, and I was like, at the time I was working at like McDonald's doing overtime. It was just terrible. It was terrible. A terrible time. Everything in my soul was telling me to go back to Maryland, but I really didn't want to go back to Maryland. So I was like, man, you know what? Forget it. Like, let's try it out. Like, you grew up fighting. Like, you've always been a fighter, so let's try it out. But in my head, I'm thinking to myself, ain't nobody gonna pay me to fight. Like, to pay to fight? What? Get paid to beat people up? No way. I get paid good. Like, that's not gonna happen. So I get the number from the guy and go down to Las Vegas Fight Club, and he introduces me to a guy named Jason Gallegos. And Gallegos is the very first day. He's a Filipino boxing coach. Very first day, I'm out there running my 10 laps in the back, and he's like, hey, Sherrard, do you want to fight in 30 days? I was like, well, I just signed up, but sure, why not? Like, why not? If I'm going to do this, go all in with it. And so the fight ended up falling through. It was a boxing fight, but I had to get like all these like medical tests and everything. So come to find out, we had a guy that ended up getting into some legal trouble in the gym, and he wasn't able to compete in an amateur MMA event that was going on. So he comes to me and is like, hey, look, you're already in shape. He said, you're in shape. Why don't we just go ahead and do this, hop in there just to keep you so that you didn't just do this whole camp for no reason. Like, yeah, I know you're bummed out that you weren't able to afford the license and everything, but like, how about we put you in here? You don't have to pay for anything, just to get you some crowd experience, to get you in there, get you some ring time. I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Forget it. Let's do it. He said, win, lose, draw, it don't matter. We're going in there. We're boxing this guy. Like, it don't matter what happens. I'm like, okay. So we get there. The guy ended up missing weight by like 30 pounds. It was supposed to be a 165 fight. I showed up 163. He showed up 190, 193, 194, so the commission actually wouldn't allow it. So my dietitian was like, he's like, hey, look, how about this? Let's put all these jackets on, put these sweatpants on, drink these 3 bottles of water, put these waters in your pocket, and then go weigh in. Weighed in, got on the scale, it was like 178 with all that in me. Like, it was bad. Like, I drank so much water. I was throwing up water all night and everything from like H2O poisoning, because I couldn't hold anything down. I even stepped in the ring. The next day I got in the ring, I was like 163 again. And Yeah, it was all bad news. So, but I get in there and I ended up slamming this dude around. I had like 5 or 6 huge suplexes, and then I remember on one of them, I just seen in his face, he's like, "I don't want to be here no more," and I just started hitting him, and he went to sleep, and I ended up winning by a 3rd round knockout. So it was, and that was like the beginning to it. That was kind of where I started, and then King of the Cage calls me, and they offered me a fight, but they were trying to set me up to fight one of their prospects. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, I'll fight anybody. I don't care. And I get in there. I submitted the dude in the 2nd round, 33 seconds into the 2nd round. And after that, my coach was like, man, like, I think this is your thing. Like, you're really good at this. You're good at the ground stuff. You're good at the striking. Like, I think this is your calling right here. Maybe we're not supposed to force this boxing on you. So we took that and we ran with it. We took that and ran with it.
Good for you, man.
And
That's
now
cool
I'm
that you stayed the course, and it's all worked out for you getting this Contender Series opportunity. One thing I did want to ask you, I was looking on your Tapology record, and they said you had a fight scheduled against Drew Fickett, the former UFC fighter who's got like 63 fights. Did that end up happening? Because they don't have a result there on that fight.
No, it didn't end up happening. So what happened was the Arizona Athletic Commission, they ended up like shutting down all the events in Arizona due to the coronavirus.
Oh, gotcha.
So
okay.
after that, yeah, so they were going to move it forward. They were going to move it a little bit further forward, and then my manager called me and was like, "Hey, can you make 55 by September 8th?" And I was like, "Of course, you know I can." And he's like, "Okay, well then you got the call." I was like, "Hold on, what are you talking about?" He's like, "You're on Contender Series." I was like, "What? No way. Are you serious? Don't play with me. Are you serious?" He's like, "Yes." He said, "You're fighting Cameron Church on the Contender Series." I was like, "Oh my God, this is so awesome." I said shaking. I was so happy. It was a dream. It's a dream come true. Like for sure, man.
That's great to hear, man. So what do you know about your opponent? Similar record. How do you feel like you match up against him here?
Man, I think I match up perfectly against him, man. I think I'm like the underdog in it, but that's not the first time I've ever gone into one of my fights being the underdog, so that doesn't bother me at all. He's just a heavy puncher. He puts all of his energy into his punches. So, I mean, let's see if you can bang with me.
And you train at a great camp at Syndicate MMA. Who have been some of your main training partners for this camp?
I train a lot with Jordan Levitt. I train a lot with Jordan.
Oh, that's right.
Levitt.
He won the contract, yeah.
Yep, I train a lot with Jordan Levitt. He's probably, I'd have to say he's my main training partner. He'll be in my corner also. So, yeah, he's one of my main guys. I've been doing a lot of work with my friend Sasha also. He's a pretty good look on Cameron. So yeah, I mean it's gonna be a fun fight.
Now, is John Wood going to be in your corner for this fight?
Yes, he will.
Very cool. Who else is going to be in the cage with you that night?
It'll be Jordan Levitt and John Wood. We're only allowed to have two.
Yeah, no, that's right, because of the restrictions. No, that makes sense. How do you see this fight playing out on September 8th?
Man, I think I can pull out a first round victory, man. First round either TKO or first round submission for sure. Yeah, I don't see this going the distance.
And you mentioned sort of the long journey it took to get to where you're at right now. What would it mean to win a UFC contract, in your career?
Oh man, it'd mean everything. It's like dedicating your whole life to be an NFL player, and you get that chance to go and perform in front of the owners of the NFL. Like, you get to prove your worth to them. You get to prove that you deserve to be there. Like, I mean, obviously nobody deserves it, but to earn it, man, to earn that opportunity to do that is everything, man. Like, if anything, I can at least tell a story of, hey, man, I made it to the top level of the sport, and like, not many people make it there. So it's definitely a story to tell.
We're looking forward to it. It's coming up here September 8th. It is Dana White's Contender Series. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Oh, yeah, man. You can find me on Sherrard on Instagram at Sherrard_MMA. That's SHERRARD_MMA. You can find me on Twitter at SherrardB. Same thing, SHERRARDB. And on Facebook at Sherrard Devontae Blackledge anytime. And I'd like to give a big shout out. I'd love to give a big shout out to my gym, Syndicate MMA, my coach, John Wood, and my sponsor, Farmer Extracts. They've been looking after me since I started this journey, and I appreciate them greatly.